think I'm good. Am I live? I'm live. Hey guys, Multi-Dark Samus is here, and welcome back to Ace Attorney Dual Destinies. Is it bad that I don't remember what happened yesterday? Hold on, I can recap. I can do this. Right, what happened yesterday is I had mentioned that any and all spoilers will result in an instant ban. Bans will be revoked at the end of the game. Multi-offenders will be banned for a year. There we go. I got distracted. So, my understanding from yesterday is that we continued from the trial before, only we started investigating and made our way into a room, the Forbidden Chamber, and I don't really remember much because I wasn't paying that much attention to the investigation at all. And we learned a lot of stuff. Hold on. So now we're just gonna jump right back into it. Almost 2 minutes late, chatty. Almost 2 minutes late. Because, you know, we're totally going to get the real story from him. This guy's crazy. That word's too big for me. Because that was totally a legitimate exorcism. Hold on, I need to clean my glasses. They're bothering me. I think that's the best I'll be able to do. The main issue is that my lenses are... I don't really know how, but they're... like... they're a couple years old and, like, wearing out on the edges inwards, so sometimes I just... they're all damaged and stuff. I don't know. At one point I think I had an explanation, but it makes no sense because I've never seen anyone else's glasses do that. I think it's just I don't take good care of them, but it's not like I've been scratching them or anything. Just checking. Thought I saw a typo. I just want to get back into the trial. This is ridiculous. Going to go into the court and pull it out of him using this. This is what I was looking for. We're gonna use this in particular to prove that he knew about it because he broke it. It's going to kill someone with that. Isn't it obvious? Well then. The game just admitted that this is our trump card. Unless it does that for all. Nope, just that. So I'm guessing we'll use this evidence to tie him to the crime. We'll use this to prove that this belongs to him. I'm not sure what we're going to do with this. And then we'll shove the final nail into his coffin with this, which I should not have shown. I would make a great attorney if this is actually how being an attorney, what being an attorney was, is like, hey, look at all this evidence, and this evidence points to you. Oh, well, they stole the evidence and murdered me. So, I win. Yay! Sure. Yes, I am. I don't think 100 more times is gonna cut it. Now he mentions it. Well, that's an interesting statement. Right up the schnoozle, guys. Right up the schnoozle. He does, doesn't he? Maybe he is Red-White. Maybe this is what happened to Red-White after the fall of Blue Corp. Red-White of Blue Corp, that's just... I don't think they could try for anything more subtle than that. Or less subtle. There's really nowhere to go from that. It's literally just, you can't make it any more subtle. And you can't make it any less subtle because it's not subtle at all. She's not in the... That's weird. I actually would have expected her to be in the detention center, considering the fact that the prosecution is now trying to claim that she's the killer. I went and looked up some information. I was trying to remember something, and I noted I noticed something that someone had said about the Ace Attorney trilogy, specifically a small minor inconsistency between 2 and 3, wherein during the Killer case, at the end you find out that the, what was it, 5th piece of evidence? Now I'm pretty sure it's 4th, and I think someone made a typo there. Because you're given a gun, a tape, and I forget what the other thing is. Something not useful at all. And, then Gumshoe says that he was actually missing a piece of evidence. And then you find out that the piece of evidence is a calling card that Maya had drawn onto and made it look like Nick and wrote the name Nick on it. And then she mentions at the end of the game that next time she sees Phoenix Wright, she's going to give it to him. And the next time she sees Phoenix Wright is Trials and Tribulations during the final case, and the card never showed up. There was a reason I was saying all of this, and I've already forgotten my point. But that was a weird thing. A minor inconsistency. Oh right, all of that to say, because, all the time, just, I start doing some research into the Ace Attorney games, trying to stay away from spoilers, and then I find out information about Investigations 2, and it actually makes me want to play Investigations 2. So, I might. Phoenix did meet with Francisca, though. They meet at the bridge, remember? Because I believe that she shows up, talks to Phoenix, and says, I'm out of here. Good luck with the other prosecutor. I know that she meets with Phoenix. And there were some people who were disappointed by the fact that the card never comes back. It's not mentioned or anything, it's just a little throwaway, just a small throwaway plot point from the second game. But no, I'm starting to really want to play Investigations 2, though. So, at some point, I may, grab a totally legitimate copy of Investigations 2, translated to English. Because apparently it's really good, and I actually want to... I want to play it. I've seen some spoilers for it that I'm like, these are some neat callbacks and stuff, and now I actually want to see what they're like playing the game, because I haven't seen that much information about it. Mostly just, I go in and look up something, follow a rabbit hole down, and then I'm reading the notes and stuff on different pages, and it's like, this is mentioned in Investigations 2, or this character appears in Investigations 2. Apparently, the killer appears in Investigations 2. I don't care as much about spoilers for that game, because up until now I haven't really given much thought to playing it, but I don't know, I might try to play it. I just have to figure out how I'm going to play it. I might be able to get it running on the 3DS. Wow. So for anyone who can't see the starting part of that post, the starting part says also from the Ace Attorney wiki regarding red white. Red white. And then you can see the rest of this. That is... Wow, I never thought of that. In all fairness, he didn't blame Phoenix Wright for murdering Mia. He blamed Phoenix Wright for not protecting her. Godot never once says, well, he kind of does say that Phoenix Wright, he says Phoenix Wright is responsible for her death by not protecting her because it was Phoenix Wright's job to protect her since he wasn't there. And I imagine that Godot knew who had actually murdered Mia. I mean, that was a pretty important case. Obviously, there'd be a lot of documentation. He comes back from a coma and decides to check on Mia only to find out that she was dead. I can't imagine he didn't know who killed her. Just that he was blinded by his belief that Phoenix Wright didn't protect Mia and it was up to Phoenix Wright to protect her. But more accurately, he was projecting his own hatred for himself and his inability onto Phoenix Wright. But also, of course, he couldn't see the death of his colleague coming because he was in a coma. He was in a coma from the time of Mia's first case. Yeah, he was in a coma from the time of Mia's first case to Trials and Tribulations case 2, so a couple of years. So no, he couldn't have seen it coming because he was in a coma. Still a neat parallel. Well, that was fast. Okay then. Yes, because I'm the one playing around. Ejection. I saw it. Wait, that's a really interesting... That's a really interesting one. She has mind bullets. She has telekinesis, she's just bending the card. I think you mixed up your signals there, Apollo. I think we've all started to accept that Apollo is a demon. Perceive is so much nicer than Psyche locks. don't miss the Psyche Lock system. It's one of my least favorite parts of playing the Ace Attorney trilogy. Objection! And I'm guessing that the prosecution knows this. How did he hide himself? That's something I haven't figured out yet. I also still haven't figured out how she got into the chamber. Oh, good. So I was like, I don't know, 10 to 15 minutes away from the end of that segment. I'm adding in time it took to do the intro and also go off on a short tangent about red, white, and some other random crap. Also, finished watching the Kid Icarus Uprising stream series, and I'm actually really sad with how it ended, but my god, those characters were perfect. Almost everything about the story in that game was just amazing. Even the really cheesy and crappy parts that I laughed at because it was just stupid, but just how they portrayed the characters they created, it was amazing. I don't think I would play the game, but I am sad that it's over. And I probably won't play the game because I don't think I could get through beating the game and then being like, but now I want more game. Knowing that Sakurai has outright said he's not doing another Kid Icarus. And he's not porting it to the Switch either. So no sequel, no port. Just the 3DS game. And a lot of people want that port. Or a sequel. I want more Hades. Hades is an amazing character. That face. Just this once, you had him doing the opening statement in the previous... yesterday. Not yesterday for me, but yesterday in the game. Game time. Yes, I'm sure that your grandchild loves the fact that you're a judge. Wait, so if the evidence is conclusive, as the judge says, wouldn't he be ready to rule his verdict? Wouldn't he go ahead and give the verdict? Why is the prosecution bringing in yet another witness? I guess that's why.
Objection!
Yes, I would. I love me some witness testimony. Great, we have more than one witness. I don't want to cross-examine him. I was hoping we were done with him. I am concerned. So this might be where I need that one piece of evidence that I'm like, why the hell is this in my evidence? Or maybe that evidence is just going to be used in another. But wasn't there that one piece of evidence we never touched? Which I was so caught up on that I honestly thought it was the solution to everything. And then we never got an answer. Just, you know, here's the remote detonator. It was used, but it was never found. So, the prison's janitor is a ghost. What if that's what it is? What if the prison's janitor is a ghost? So the ghost that he thinks he sees, the prison's janitor, and he thinks he's a ghost because he is a ghost. Someone needs to up the funding in that prison if they have to resort to hiring ghosts. Or get some sidekicks who can get rid of the ghosts. Just hire Sam and Dean. You can have some good supernatural episodes. It's funny, I've actually never made it through Supernatural ever. I got a lot further the last time I watched it, but I start from the beginning, go for quite a ways into it, and then I just stop watching. For months, and then I'm like, yeah, I could continue where I left off, but I don't remember what happened. Well, back to the beginning. And then I never finished. The earlier seasons were a lot better than the later seasons, in my expert opinion. Alright, so now we're going on to cross-examination. I'm making excellent time, 30 minutes, and I'm already up to the first cross-examination. That's better than the first stream. Probably.
Hold it!
It's not important to this case, right? You didn't press on. Oh, right, because you were using a guide. I was expecting an objection. You know what? If it were any other prosecutor, it would have been an objection that has nothing to do with the case, or conspiracy. Hearsay, I don't know, something like that.
Hold it!
That statement to me seems objectionable. But I'm not sure. Maybe not, I don't know.
Hold it!
Oh, he does have to sit on a box. Stand on a box, not sit.
Hold it!
Maybe it's this statement. Hold on, I think I missed something. You pressed on that statement, so I have a feeling this is important. Or maybe not.
Objection!
I had some thoughts, and that was one of them. Oh no. Oh no, Apollo. Oh no, 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 no. This is... Actually might not be as bad as I think it is. So we know that the defendant had the key and swallowed it after taking it from the killer. How is the prosecution going to turn this around on us? That seems highly uncomfortable to pass through the system. No, the prosecution didn't object and say, well, now you've just proven that it was the defendant.
Objection!
Oh, thank God, we got an objection. I was worried we wouldn't get enough of those.
Take that!
We'll just wait here in silence for 3 minutes while I talk. Wow, he did not see that coming. Filch? Oh, Filch. Of course! It took me until now to realize it, but of course, Filch steals his things. Steals his things. Wow, that was one of my worst misspeaks yet.
Objection!
I'm not that surprised. Wait, you can't object and then say, wait, what? Are you whatting the fact that you objected? Are you not confident in your objection? You gotta say it loud and say it proud. You gotta mean it. I swear my mind shut off while I was saying that, so I had no control. I'm willing to step back and admit that was a very cringy thing for me to say. I didn't say it loud or proud. And I probably meant it though, so. And if I lived alone and or didn't have people in the house at this time, I would have actually shouted objection. So you're all welcome for that.
Objection!
He seems angry. Yes, I do have a problem with it. That means that you have the staff. Staff is a weird word. The plural of staff is staves. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know that until a couple of days ago when I was watching the live streamer I usually watch. Actually, probably when I watched his first Kid Icarus game and he referred to the staff as being in the group of staves, I was like, what the hell? What does that even mean? And then shortly thereafter I figured out that staves is the plural form of staff, which I find weird. The English language is weird. I can't believe it took me 20 years to learn this. 20 and a half years. Not quite. Almost 20 and a half. I was a couple of days off. He just admitted to it. I mean, someone's going to object. I'm absolutely certain that it's LaBelle, which means that yeah, I'm expecting that Apollo Justice is going to object and be like, nope, I still want to bring LaBelle to the stand because I'm absolutely certain it's him. So he didn't do what he was supposed to. He didn't watch the wrestling game like he planned on. Wow, this guy's useless. But that's not possible. We checked the air vent, didn't we? Oh. Oh, right. There was another air vent. My bad. We didn't check that air vent. Okay, well, that does solve it. Sorry. Following some stuff on Discord. Someone said something, and then I started laughing because what's funny about it is that what they want to do is something that people have already done several times. I'm just not sure, how many people have succeeded in completing it. Window?
Take that!
Give me a second, I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back.
Take that!
Let's just present this again. I'm trying to help explain to someone why this idea wouldn't work, but I forgot the term that I needed to use. I'm not even gonna. So yeah, so far so good. Wow. I think he's trying to break out already.
Objection!
Oh god, he's already objecting. I have no objections, but now I want to object.
Objection!
Of course. And that's how we're going to pull the bell into this.
Hold it! Objection!
Well, if the accused wasn't there, supposedly, then he couldn't have been the one who opened the door. Just a thought. Objection. I have an objection.
Hold it!
No, wait. That is objectionable.
Objection!
Oh, he knows. No wonder he's been trying to keep, LaBelle off the stand. No one likes him. Phoenix Wright, obviously.
Take that!
Which I've been saying. I've been saying since the start of the trial that I wanted to bring LaBelle in. I mean, Paulo did outright say, I believe, that the mayor's aide was the one who committed the murder. Or at least started bringing it up and then was objected to, and then we had Filch brought in. Remember guys, perjury's a criminal offense. My best voice for that particular line from the Ace Attorney musical. Turnabout musical? Yeah. Wait. Not yet. Oh. No objection. Wow. That's a new one. Also just noticed we are in, Defendant Lobby 3, or Courtroom number 3. So I don't pay attention. You know, at one point I thought that every single trial took place in Courtroom number 2. Then I saw the sheet of paper with... Well, I saw the document that Techie wrote up for me showing up to... I think Apollo Justice at the time? I don't remember. Might have been only up to like case 1 or 2 of Apollo Justice, but he showed me every single case that I had played through up to that point, and all the courtrooms, and just still shocks me. Wait a minute. Which courtroom is the one that got exploded? No, that was courtroom number 4, right? That was blown up, and it's literally just courtroom number 8 is, for whatever reason, the only courtroom that never shows up, ever. Yeah, that's what I figured, because I was going to be like, maybe it was courtroom number 8, because that's the one that no trial is ever held in, but no. No, courtroom number 8 just doesn't exist. Is it 8? It's one of the higher numbers. The numbers literally just skip. Now, what bothers me is... Oh, right. I was going to say it was LaBelle, but then we, took the fingerprints and found out that Filch had stolen the thingy. The hand cream. And so that's how he got tied into all of this mess. Again. In the words of Miles Edgeworth, I can't talk, court is in session. Immediately after, Phoenix Wright goes, hey Edgeworth, heads up, and then throws the phone at Edgeworth. I love that. That's one of my favorite scenes in all of this, and I wish we could get a full animation for it. Okay, fine, Justice for All, while being the weakest title so far, in my opinion, has some good stuff in it. For instance, I do absolutely love... What is that, Turnabout Goodbyes? Or is that Farewell My Turnabout? I think that's Farewell My Turnabout. Yep, okay. Because Turnabout Goodbyes is case 4 of Ace Attorney 1. I'm shocked that I actually remembered that, even though I just looked up that case last night because I wanted to... I couldn't for the life of me remember what the, that last piece of evidence that went missing was. Also, wanted to end that beeping while I go on my rant. No, I just... Farewell My Turnabout is one of my favorite cases in the entire series, but Ace Attorney 2 Justice for All is honestly one of my least favorite games in the series. It has some good lore and everything, but overall it's a fairly... I feel like it's a forgettable game. I can play it and I enjoy playing it, but it also has my least favorite trial so far, which is a surprising turn of events, that my least favorite trial doesn't exist in Apollo Justice. Apollo's second trial is not my least favorite, actually. It does have my least favorite, actually no, I think this trial has my least favorite There's so many terrible witnesses. They all have bad witnesses. I don't know, but yeah, I just feel like Justice for All is a fairly forgettable game. And I'm sure that there are people who disagree. Oh my god, he's actually using the other phone. Just hangs up on everyone. Oh wait, that's not surprising. It's not like he shows any care for anyone else. Should you say that? Should you say that? You're a terrible aide. Why do you exist? Oh, blackmail.
Objection!
I don't like him. I don't think anyone likes him. Black Quill doesn't like him.
Objection!
Oh my god, angry. Wait, what are you objecting to? Yeah. Oh, thank god we actually have someone objecting right before us when the old bag goes, I mean, the bell, Red White, goes off on one of his... Didn't Red White do the same thing? I can't remember, but didn't Red White have sections where he would just go on and on about something? Or am I mixing up my characters again?
Silence!
Oh, shut up. Did you just... Really? Is that what I missed earlier on? Is all that he did was slam his fists into the desk, singular, and the shackles broke? Really, is that all it takes to get out of these shackles? I was right. The prison needs some better funding if they're hiring ghosts. Clearly, they're hiring a ghost. So they don't have to pay it. And because they can't afford sturdier shackles. Objection! I really don't care. I have 1 hour. Solve it. Uh-oh. Objection! How could you possibly have known that? Also, I kinda suspected that that would happen. I knew that somehow that would get out. I hate you. Where's my gun? Someone get me my gun. Gonna point gun evidence at this witness. How did you know to confirm this? Oh my god. can't snapshot this. I want to snapshot this. But I don't want to open up... whatever. I thought that... What's the purpose of pressing L and R together if they don't snapshot? Why do they have camera icons on them? What is the purpose of these buttons? Anyways. Maritima's Conviction Gala. Lovely. I don't know, that sounds very questionable. He's the Joker. Okay, why do we need camera icons on buttons that only function on the home screen? But, also, I just noticed, he's totally the Joker. Pale face, green hair, purple outfit, he's the Joker. He's red, white, meets the Joker. And with that, I will now be hearing his voice as the Joker. Which I will not be attempting to do, because I can't do a very good, who's that guy? Any of them. I can't do a good any of them impression. But I would probably go for my favorite Joker, which is actually, oh, what's his name? I should know this. Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill is my favorite Joker. Which is really funny, because you'd think that it would be the Joker from the Batman trilogy. I think it's the Dark Knight trilogy? Anyways, you would think it would be from that. That Joker also did a very fantastic job, but in my opinion, Mark Hamill will always be the Joker. For reasons unknown. I don't know. Mark Hamill just does a really amazing Joker. And, off-brand Joker. From the Gotham... What is it? Gotham? I think it's called Gotham. The Batman TV show that takes place in Bruce Wayne's childhood. Why am I blanking on names? I mean, I've never been good with names, but now it's just like... I can't even get any of the names right. Objection! Oh. Well, this should be good. But that might not be a contradiction. You know, I agree. There's a time to live, and a time to die. And a time to meet the Maker. There's a time to live. But isn't it strange that as soon as you're born, you're dying? Bruce Dickinson. The Clairvoyant, I think? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the Clairvoyant. From Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. I know my Iron Maiden. Some of it. I know about 4 albums. Also, what I consider to be the 4 best albums. Although I might add in a 5th soon enough. I might add Number of the Beast to my Spotify playlist, I just don't know. I was never a huge fan of Number of the Beast, any of the songs off that album, and the title song. Also, if this video gets if this video gets claimed on YouTube, I will be, I don't know, because that would just be hilarious. It would also be one of the 3 strikes you get, and I'd really rather not get any of those, because I quite like my YouTube channel, and I'd really rather not lose that. I don't think it contradicts that, but it's still in my... There's gotta be a reason why these pieces of evidence are still in the court record. Because we already cleaned out 3 pieces of evidence. Actually, every once in a while it will keep evidence that you don't really use again, but I'd expect that if the game is going to give you a clean up evidence section, they would take out any and all evidence that isn't useful anymore, but... On second thought, you could use the descriptions as hints. For instance, this. He called me a peasant. You didn't press on this, because I can't skip it. Can I put him on in r/entitled bitches? Entitled bitch? Entitled people. Insane people, Ace Attorney. Oh, wait. I already pointed out that that would be a terrible decision to make because it would get repetitive very quickly. If anyone else wants to Insane People Ace Attorney, be my guest. How many characters is that? Don't mind me. I had Python already open. $23, it would fit, right? Reddit subreddit titles are limited to 30 characters, right? Techie, you missed some great stuff, though. Using a guide to get through this. Is it 20? Wouldn't fit. Insane People AA. No, because then you'd get that confused with Alcoholics Anonymous. Don't want that. Actually, I'm pretty sure that posting to that would be illegal, considering the name Anonymous is in the title. I don't know, I'll think of something. Oh yeah, you could do that. That's smart. Also, I just love that oh, right. I had Python open for something that I will probably work my way into doing tomorrow for the stream. I wanted to do something, I wanted to randomly generate something based on existing information, and then I wanted to randomize it, but I couldn't find anything in the 2 minutes I had to look it up before I had to start streaming, so... That's why I was about 30 seconds late to streaming. 30 seconds. That's a lot, you know. I get bored waiting. Because usually by, I don't know, usually by 7:50 or 7:55, I have everything ready to go, and I'm just sitting here waiting for time to hit the start stream button. I have nothing better to do than to sit here and wait. But still, you missed some good stuff here. Even when I'm wrong, I'm right. Phoenix Wright had a good pun about this. Why am I the best attorney? Because I'm always right. Phoenix Wright said it, not me. I'm just relaying the message. Justice for all. Turnabout Big Top. My least favorite trial to date. It's worse than this trial in my opinion, and this is just... The issue I had with that was I didn't like the witnesses, I didn't like the people involved, and I didn't like the case. Up until the end of the case, for me that trial just dragged on, and I just didn't like the people. I didn't really like anyone involved. I felt that the people were too quirky and just annoyingly so. And every single witness was annoying to cross-examine. The trial was just annoying until the very end. I liked the ending, and I really like if you accuse the judge of hiding the murder weapon and he will drop you from full bar, he will drop you down to like just enough bar that you survive, but you have to get to that point without making any mistakes, and I made a mistake, so I didn't get to actually go through the hilarity of doing that and then realizing, oh crap, I can't make any more mistakes because I was silly and decided to say the judge did it. This case just drags. This case is long. It's just long. Exactly. But I didn't get the... Actually, I did get the what's that you want to double. And then immediately after that line, I got a guilty verdict. What? You're accusing me of being the murderer? Have a penalty. Half your penalty bar. What's that? You want a double? Almost another half your penalty bar. There's like 1% bar left. My thought was that if you did that and didn't have the full bar, it just would drop you down to the same number. It doesn't drop you down. It will run you out. There's no way to make a mistake anywhere in the case and do that. Well, during that section of the trial at least. So you have to break psyche lock. In 2 and 3, you had to break the psyche locks to regenerate your stamina bar. Your, I don't know, guilty verdict bar? Innocent bar? I don't know. I forgot what we referred to it as. Patience. Wasn't it like patience? How much patience the judge has for you, and once he runs out of patience, you just lose. I think we determined it was patience, but I could be wrong. It's a pointless meter that just goes down every time you make a mistake. Attorney, I've lost my patience with you. The defendant is... Patience, yeah. The defendant is guilty because I'm impatient. I'm out of patience with... But the prosecution very rarely... It's not that it never happens. I just don't think it really happened until... like, Apollo Justice. It didn't happen for a long time where the judge actually gave a penalty to the prosecution. The sad thing is it wasn't a physical penalty. You couldn't see that there was a penalty bar or anything. It was just... prosecution, you suck.
Hold it!
Objection! Maybe he is contradicting her thing. Are you sure, Mr. Joker? Can I get a Mark Hamill text-to-speech module? I'd have to mute the game for it. Because... well, no, actually, I could add... No, I don't think I could. Hold on. Nope. Because normally the game audio goes through the monitor of the headset. But because the headset's currently monitoring the line in from 3DS, well, actually it's 2DS, but I labeled it as 3DS, because it's using a line in to play the game audio, that goes to the desktop audio, and I have to have a monitor set on it to output to the headset so that I can hear it. Which means I can't unmute desktop audio because you'd start getting, it would start looping the audio. I think. It's entirely possible that there wouldn't be a delay at all, and so it would just sound like nothing's happening. It might not sound like there's a difference, but I'm not willing to risk it. But I want a Mark Hamill Joker text-to-speech. I want to just have this guy, every line from this guy, done in the Mark Hamill Joker voice. I'm even more convinced that he's the Joker now. You checked the mirror? Right? Oh, checked your face, yeah. Probably with a mirror. Or with a smartphone camera. People do that too.
Hold it! Objection!
Why does he have to open both, and why does the other one always ring? You know, in my experience in a court, which is one experience, you're supposed to turn your cell phone off. But this is Japanica, so I'm sure the rules are different. But then again, court's in session, hang up.
Hold it!
Alright, Judge. We have a 5-minute recess to discuss. A 5-minute recess. Objection. Can we cut his... Well, I guess we can't cut his head off until we prove that he's the murderer. Wait, what did he say? Ah, okay, he said darkness.
Hold it!
Huh. You did press on this one, too. Oh, so I was right. Is this really the contradiction?
Objection!
Wow. Never second guess myself. Apparently I'm right. Often. Oh, he doesn't look happy. He's got a Joker's face. You deserve that. You deserve that so much.
Silence.
Oh, good. Prosecutor finally steps in. So we have another, Clavier. Apparently, the difference between the Ace Attorney trilogy and everything else is that in everything else, the prosecutor doesn't really care about winning so much as, well, I don't know what he cares about. He cares about judging. Gavin cared about the truth. Sure, you can work. Objection! But I think his timing of when he was in the Fox chamber is false. It's a contradiction, I just don't have the evidence to prove that.
Hold it!
This statement right here doesn't make sense to me.
Objection!
Silence.
I want to point out that what he said is a contradiction. Maybe.
Hold it!
I thought that I'd get something useful out of that. Well, I thought I was on the right track.
Hold it!
But I think we're getting close to the thing that I said would happen. We're getting close to solving my theory, which is that this piece of evidence will tie him into the murder. Oh my god, it was so obvious. I can see the future. I know I say this a lot now, because I'm really good at guessing what's going to happen. But seriously, I mean...
Objection!
These games have gotten so obvious, and yet so not obvious at the same time. It's really confusing. Sometimes I'm just like, well, obviously this is where we're going, because it gave me this piece of evidence, and the only thing I can think of is that this is... Well, I mean, I already said that he was the murderer from the very first time that I talked to him. And now this. Yes. I believe I am indicting him for murder. He seems shocked, but haven't I been telling him from the start that I blame him? I've been accusing him for a long time now, and he still acts shocked. But now I have formally accused him. Admit it.
Silence!
Oh, come the fork on. Can't demonetize me if I say fork. I say a lot of bad things. Purposefully censored that just to make a joke? I don't know.
Objection! Silence!
Yeah, I was worried about that.
Objection!
Silence!
Objection! That means you did it.
Objection! Silence!
Really? You're gonna silence me before I even say anything? Just trying to hold it. Oh, it's you. I can't restrain him. He's just standing there, wiggling his fingers. Unrestrainable. It's impossible. They act shocked. Is anyone here surprised? I'm not. Since... I don't know, actually. I would have expected Black Quill to be the one in charge of security. Or Fulbright. You can't talk about dual process in... or due process in the initial trial system, it abides by none of the rules of most legal systems. And only like 1/3 of the rules of the original Japanese legal system before like 2007. No, 2008? I looked it up and found out that the last case to Apollo Justice was done as a sort of nod towards the change in the judicial system of Japan when they switched to something similar to the Apollo Justice to the jurist system. It's not quite the same, but it happened in like 2008, I think. It would have happened sometime around the time that Apollo Justice got released, because that's why the last case was the jurist system. They did that case specifically to sort of acknowledge that Japan was changing their legal system. So before that, the initial system was a very strict and dumbed down version of what their legal system was. And the jurist system is similarly a dumbed down and generalized version of the new system. From what little bit of research I did, which was reading a long article. I won't say from where because that just throws all my credibility out the window. Which that statement right there tells you where I found it. We got testimony from someone literally channeling someone else at one point. Granted, at the time we didn't know about it. Wait, yes we did. Because as soon as Phoenix Wright brings up the fact that our witness was Dahlia Hawthorne being channeled by someone else, we then started cross-examining Dahlia Hawthorne. So, how much different is it between... How much of a difference is there between cross-examining a spirit and something? Alright. So a little bit of background for this. I know it's not related at all, but oh my god. So Techie has been playing Animal Crossing New Leaf and got me into it. And he one of his villagers is named Pashmina. And we have this Bewaloot meme, and I don't remember the full story, but I think it was something like Pashmina asked for a Bewaloot. So Taiki gave him or her, I don't remember the gender. So Taiki gave them a Bewaloot. Turn around and Pashmina returns the Bewaloot to him. Gives it back to him. This is my remembrance of it, so it could be wrong. Techie, feel free to enlighten me. But what I do remember is Techie then sent 10, the maximum number of letters you can send at one time. 10 Bewaloots to Pashmina at once. He sent me an image in retail. Oh. I was getting to that. Okay, so he gave her a Bewaloot. She sold it at retail, so he sent 10 more. And yeah, he sent me a picture in retail. Oh, the Bewaloot? This item belongs to Pashmina from here in Nuvima. I probably shouldn't have given away your town name, not that it matters, because it's not like people can just visit your town. Not easily, at least. I should get back into New Leaf. The issue is that the longer I go from the game, the less I want to play it again. I'm at a point where I'm ready to reset my town because I just don't want to deal with coming back and having 10 letters and everyone new. Okay, well, really? Citra doesn't let you go online? I thought it did. What's the point of online chat rooms if you're not allowed to actually play games with people? It makes sense, though, from a legal standpoint. Actually, from an implementation standpoint. Because I'm pretty sure that to... Uh... But also from, in practice, I imagine that there's some stuff that Nintendo does to prevent, like, other devices from accessing their servers for games and stuff. So if you tried to, say, go online on an emulator, not that anyone here condones the use of emulators or illegal ROMs, although it is a legal ROM. He owns a physical cartridge of New Leaf. It's just easier to run. I forget the exact reason, but I think it's because he actually likes using a controller for Animal Crossing. So he runs it in an emulator instead of on device, and I prefer running mine on a normal 3DS, but... I mean, I did say it was legitimate ROM. He owns a physical cartridge. Why you chose to do that, I don't know. Which also makes it very difficult to go online with you if you're not using a physical device. Techie. But the reality is I probably won't get back into New Leaf just because... Well, yeah. Eh... Technically that is true. I won't go into that because I have had the topic of ROMs and emulation banned from a server before for arguing about the legality of piracy. Piracy is illegal. I don't give a fuck who you are or what you do. Piracy is illegal, and I will stand back and defend. I will stand back and call you out on it. I reported someone who, at one point, I was co-owner of their server. I reported them because in their server they outright released a link to a Google Drive folder that contained pirated content. I reported it. Google hasn't done anything about it. It's also really difficult to report piracy through Google because it really wants you to say that it's your copyrighted content, and I'm like, but it's not mine. It's just I'm not going to condone someone who just gives out links to what is essentially... No, it was a physical copy of the game and a tool to crack the game so that you could play it. So both illegally... Yeah, possibly. I should get back to fixing this because it really pisses me off. As a programmer and very, very casual game developer and musician, none of which I've really done much with, but still, it really frustrates me to see people taking other people's copyrighted content and then distributing it. They took a game that you are supposed to pay for to play, and they put the ISO into a drive folder to share with people, and then also with it packed a tool that would crack the game so that it would play, and documentation on how to crack the game. Illegal distribution of copyrighted content is illegal, and I will not condone it. But yeah, I'm gonna go back to that. I don't even care if he finds this, and I know that he knows I stream. I know that he knows who I am. The thing is, I burned that bridge a long time ago, and I don't regret it. I stood my ground. I told him that I was not going to do something that made me uncomfortable, that emotionally hurt me, that was causing me a lot of emotional distress, and when he wouldn't listen to me, when he wouldn't back down, I called him out on it and kicked from the server that I co-owned. And I will not go back, even if I can go back. I refuse to go back until I get an apology from him, which I know is not going to happen. I have people who don't fully side with me. I have people who agree that what I'm fighting for is right. The issue is that they don't agree of how I went about fighting for it, and I don't either. I made a mistake. I lashed out, I got aggressive, and I did something that I shouldn't be proud of. I don't care that I did it. I don't regret that I did it, but I'm not going to say that I was right for doing it. I did what I felt at the time was the right thing to do, and it wasn't the right thing to do, but I mean, he was a fucking twat. And I'm not the kind of person just let someone be that way and not tell them. So I told him. And then I went into the server and wrote up a nice long post about the shit that he had done and got kicked. And the post got deleted. And then I went and talked to people about it and they were like, yeah, I can see both sides. You're not wrong. He's not wrong. Neither of you are right in how you handled this. So I'm just waiting for an apology because I'm not apologizing first. Which makes me seem like an asshole. And I'm okay with the fact that I seem like an asshole for this entire situation. But the reality is, he did a lot of shit to me. He said a lot of things to me. He insinuated a lot of things to me, and he acted like a, well, fucking twat. And I'm not gonna back down and apologize to him because, well, I don't feel sorry for treating someone who deserves to be treated that way. I don't think that it's the right thing to do. I don't condone that sort of behavior. I'm a bit of a hypocrite, and I recognize this. But until he recognizes that what he said, what he had been doing for months, weeks. I'd only been there a couple of months, and I had been made co-owner within like 3 weeks. But he also treated me like shit at times and made me question why the hell anyone would make me a co-owner if they didn't feel like I was respectful. One of these days, I will actually go into the full, well, a generalized version. In essence, he would bring me into DMs every once in a while and be like, I'm getting complaints about your behavior. You're being disrespectful, and I'd have to sit back and say, I'm not being disrespectful. They're just unwilling to listen to me. So I don't I don't tiptoe around issues. I don't hide how I feel. I don't try to soften the blow. It's not entirely that I don't want to, it's that I'm not capable of it fully. And I bring up the fact that most of the time it wasn't even intentional, it's just, it's a part of who I am. But this time he was like, yeah, you're gonna have to start lying. And I was like, yeah, but I'm not going to start lying. He wanted me to do something that I was not going to do, and he said, alright then, I'm demoting you. And I was like, for what? For not lying to people? For not putting up with my own mental health? For not, actively trying to look out for my own mental health? So I called him out on it. And I've pretty much said I'm not going back. My demands are pretty high. They're probably not reasonable. I'm so certain that he's not going to apologize to me that I don't even care that my demands are unreasonable because I've pretty much... The day I was kicked out was the day that I said I'm not going back. It's almost impossible that things will smooth out enough for me to want to go back, so I'm okay with it. I didn't like him as an owner. I thought that his job of running the server was terrible, and that's part of why I wanted to be a co-owner, was just to solve the issues I had with the way that he was running things. I felt that he was doing a poor job, and that I could make a difference, that I could help actually run a server a hell of a lot better. I have run a server a hell of a lot better. I then lost the server to a merger with another server, which I then left, came back to, I don't know, about a year after I left, and then left again because it just went to hell. And I do regret that merger. On one hand, it was an attempt to get more activity in the server. By bringing my inactive server into a semi-active server, I was hoping that things would get better, but as it turns out, it didn't. Pretty much, some of the people moved over. I gave everyone, I think, a couple weeks notice, possibly a month's notice. I believe I gave them a month. I believe I said, you have 1 month to move over to the other server. And if you do so, you would get a special role and some fun stuff. And after that month, I deleted the server. And only a handful of people joined the other server. And only the 2 most active users in my server went active in the other server. I don't even care that I'm... I don't even care that I'm missing text. As I've said, I'm not that interested in this anymore. Plus, I can always just I can just... Well, for cross-examinations, I usually don't even pay that much attention to the first time he goes through testimony because I just have to deal with it again.
Got it!
That's an odd one. Long rant about some BS that I went through a couple weeks ago. God, it's really been a couple weeks. Shocked I'm still in contact with anyone from that server. Oh, wait. I'm pretty sure that no one in that server actually made any complaints about me, and he was just one of the biggest issues I had with him was, and I know I'm going back to it, and I swear this is the last time, I'll probably never bring this up in another stream. One of my biggest issues was the fact that he'd be like, I've received multiple complaints, and then I look at the server and the number of active users, and I'm like, from who? Because no one I know is complaining. He gives no information about anything, just I have people complaining, and I'm just like, yeah, but no. And could be biased. I recognize that I don't know everything that everyone does, but I knew one of the people who complained about me. Actually, I know 2 possible people who complained about me, and lo and behold, they're both his best friends, or really good friends with him, and didn't really like me. One of them just because I didn't like them. And I didn't hide the fact that I didn't like them, but I also wasn't that aggressive towards them. I was more, I just wouldn't deal with them. Can't fight if you don't talk to them. And I know myself, and I know that I am not one to, control my actions, so my solution to not fighting is just don't talk to them. Had that long discussion. This is a completely different thing, and I'm like, I don't think anyone is complaining about what I was doing. I could see if, I didn't tell them, because I didn't tell them why I was behaving the way I was, but I did outright state that I was doing it on purpose for personal reasons, which for most people would be an acceptable response, and they'd be like, oh, okay, and they wouldn't try to delve too deep into it. Not the server owner. I ended up finally being like, look, here's why I won't do what you're asking. Totally legitimate reasons. And he wouldn't listen. And it really sucks that someone like myself, or a lot of other people, some people I know, we get judged based on we get judged based on problems that we can't really control, and at least in my case didn't know about until 2 years ago, and haven't really had the opportunity to delve into them and figure out how to cope. And it sucks that we're judged like this, and people will come up to us and be like, you're just lying for attention and sympathy, and I'm just like, but what do I gain? What does anyone gain by lying about, say, mental disorders? What do they gain by getting sympathy for that? I guess some people will push more for, like, having people, I don't know, like, serve them? I can't think of the right terms, but, like, I know I'm saying like a lot, and that typically happens when I am struggling with finding the way to explain things, but I don't see the purpose in lying about these things. And I'm not one to lie. In fact, I think people are insane for even suggesting that I'm lying about these things, because it's like, I don't mention it. I can go weeks and I won't mention a single thing. As soon as it becomes an issue, that's when I mention it, because I'm like, alright, I know that you don't know this. So I tell you now, that way you can understand better. And I used to be more open about it, but again, I got a lot of shit for it, and I'm like, my goal here isn't to get sympathy, it isn't to be treated differently, it's if people understand and know what they're dealing with, they'll be better equipped to handle it. And while I say not treated differently, I'm not entirely accurate there. It's just, for some people, you have to be a little more careful with them. Because, everyone suffers from their own problems. And if we can't at least somewhat accommodate for these things, you end up hurting and pushing people away. And I feel like this is something that I would have put into a YouTube video, but I've clearly chosen not to. So I'm just going to put it here in this stream that will probably never get viewed and probably ignored. But I'm going to put it here anyways. I feel like the internet has desensitized people. A lot of people. This whole idea, and I know this is nothing new, but I've seen it firsthand. I've lived it firsthand on both sides. The idea that you aren't looking at another person. It's just a disembodied line of text coming over the internet. And you lose your ability to connect with people. You lose the ability to communicate effectively and actually understand that you're dealing with another human being with their own thoughts, their own problems, their own life. And for whatever reason, we've stopped caring. And that's what's happened to me. I've been on all sides of this. I've been on the end being hurt repeatedly over and over again by people, because people just seem to think I'm not physically looking at them, so it must not matter. But I have also at some points, have reached a point where I just stopped caring as much, and recovery's a bitch. Recognizing that you've screwed up, that you've gone so far, and started fighting against everything you've been fighting for. It's not easy. But, the first step is recognizing you have a problem. Everything after that is impossible. Feels impossible, at least. At times, it does feel impossible. So, that's just how I feel right now. Is just I feel like we've reached a point where it's not only just that we've desensitized ourselves, but also there's also the other side, which is that there are people who use these things, who lie about these things to get sympathy and to gain something. I don't know what, because that's not me. I mean, I just want people to understand what I go through on a daily basis so that they understand that they can have they have a better understanding of how to communicate, how to deal with who I am. Because it's not an easy process. It's not simple just fighting against your own natural instincts. And I realize that not everyone is up to the task of dealing with people like myself, but it's honestly, it's better to just say I can't deal with this and move on than to keep trying to push through and finally break and say fuck you. You're so broken. And I've had people do that to me. I've had people give up on me all the time. And I honestly believe that we've reached a point where people don't recognize that people on the internet are, well, people. We're not just we're not just words on a screen. We are physical living entities. And I really, really wish that it this wasn't a problem. And with that, I'm going to end off this stream. No happy ending. No words of encouragement, just something to make you think. I just saved, right? I'll just save again just in case. I do the same thing with Pokemon. I'll save in Pokemon, then shut down the game and then think, am I gonna come back to the game and find that I have 2 hours of progress that I haven't saved because I'm an idiot? And, yeah. But, back to what I was saying, one person cannot make a difference. One person can start a difference. And I'd like to be one of those people who starts something and brings other people into it, and together as a whole we can change the way that things are. So maybe at some point I will dedicate an entire YouTube series for my thoughts and feelings on all of this. It actually feels kind of nice sharing it. Also feels kind of pointless. But that's just me. So, I'll see you next mission.